Prime Minister Narendra Modi there, leaving for his visit to the capital of Brunei today. This is going to be an interesting visit that's going to be taking place. He's kicking off a significant two-nation tour this week, remember. He's first going to Brunei, and then after that he's heading to Singapore, Radhika. So, you know, Prime Minister Modi there leaving the national capital, those live visuals that we are getting on our screens at the moment.
That's right. In fact, in Brunei, Prime Minister is set to meet with Sultan Hassan Al Bolkiah, the world's longest serving monarch who's been in power since 1967. So those are the visuals on your screen. First Indian Prime Minister to visit Brunei. In fact, during the visit, India and Brunei will sign a new memorandum of understanding on space cooperation, building on their 2018 agreement on satellite tracking, Rishika.
Yes. And, you know, just to put this in context for our viewers, Radhika, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had visited Brunei in 2013, if I'm not wrong, to attend the ASEAN-India Summit and the East Asia Summit. And Vice President Hamid Ansari visited in 2016 as well. You know, that at that point, there were many MOUs that were signed. But Prime Minister Modi is the first Indian Prime Minister to make a bilateral visit there. So there have been Prime Ministers in the past, including Vice President Hamid Ansari, who visited Brunei, but they've all been as a part of several multilateral forums, whether it is the ASEAN, you know, or whether it is the East Asia Summit, Vice President Hamid Ansari visiting in 2016 as well. So many MOUs have been signed between the two countries, but this is a historic first in a certain sense, with the first Indian Prime Minister to be conducting a bilateral. And the visit really doesn't end at Brunei, Radhika, because after Brunei, the Prime Minister is going to be heading to Singapore, where he's going to meet the new Singaporean Prime Minister, Lawrence Wong, who was just sworn in May this year. The two leaders are going to be holding off, you know, several sort of key meetings there in Singapore as well, with semiconductors, digital cooperation being really the key. So it's a very crucial bilateral as far as the Prime Minister is concerned. Two key bilaterals that we're looking forward to in the next 48 hours.
Certainly, two key bilaterals. Singapore is India's largest trade partner in ASEAN and the ASEAN, and the country is a leading source of foreign direct investment as well. So two important visits by the Prime Minister, one to Brunei and then to Singapore. And of course, engagements cover multiple areas, as you mentioned, Rishika, which include defense, energy, space, technology, health, capacity building. So yes, significant visits there by Prime Minister Modi to Brunei as well as Singapore, where new memorandum of understanding on multiple fronts will be done.
Yes, and you know, the strategic significance of this is also going to be interesting. In fact, our colleague Mohammed Ghazali is going to join us in just a short while from now. He'll of course explain the strategic significance of a lot of this. But I just want to point out here that, you know, the visit to Singapore is particularly interesting from the point of view of two things. One is semiconductors, Radhika. If you recall, you know, the global shortage of semiconductors has been a huge headline as far as the sector is concerned. Digital cooperation, healthcare skilling, all of these are going to be very key topics that are going to be discussed. And in terms of, you know, once again, that historic visit to Brunei, a lot to be looking forward to there. The countries do have several treaties, several sort of cooperation agreements, several MOUs that have been signed in the past. But those have all, like we've been reporting, been on the sidelines of multilateral summits. So whether it is Vice President Hamid Ansari, who went earlier, or Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, they all visited on the sidelines of various multilateral summits. This is the first bilateral, Radhika, by an Indian Prime Minister. Okay, we have Mohammed Ghazali with us as well. Ghazali, we have visuals of the Prime Minister embarking on those crucial visits to Brunei and then to Singapore. Break it down for us. What is the strategic significance?
See, first of all, why this trip is significant. This is the first ever bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister to this tiny island nation called Brunei. Why this is significant? The second point is that India's Act East policy marks its 10th year. That was the policy of India to bring its neighborhood closer. We also heard the External Affairs Minister recently on the sidelines of a book launch that how he was saying that neighborhood is always going to be a conundrum for India, but we'll have to survive with our neighbors. We see India is observing Chinese influence in all the neighborhood countries, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Maldives, and to counter that, as far as the maritime security is concerned or the influence of China is concerned, India is also trying to reach out to all the neighbors, at least in the immediate neighborhood in and around the India-Pacific region, as well as beyond the region in the entire Southeast Asian part. So Brunei also serves that purpose very right. Prime Minister said that he will be talking about strategic issues like the discussions will hover around food technology, agri-technology, space technology. Brunei is already having close coordination with India when it comes to space tech. But this time around, what is more significant is that India's energy demands are rising. So India is importing hydrocarbon from Brunei, and in the near future, as the officials were explaining yesterday from the External Affairs Ministry, that India is also expecting to import natural gas from Brunei in the later years when the demands spike. In the same way, India's Indian Prime Minister will also be visiting Singapore. Singapore is India's oldest ally in this region. It also happened to be the largest FDI partner. The FDI investment in India was the highest in the last financial year, and Singapore was responsible for that. Just last month, a group of union ministers led by Mr. Jaishankar, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, Trade Minister, they are all gone there to Singapore to discuss about business and trade ties, defense cooperation. So these issues will be under discussion when the Prime Minister visits both the countries as he embarks for Brunei today. And why this is significant? Because, you know, we have been hearing this for very long, that India's defense procurement, or the reliance of how to procure defense purchases, India has been relying on Russia for a very long time. Then it got diversified. We have got partners in France and in other countries. So when it comes to energy sector as well, when it comes to energy demands, India is also trying to diversify their needs and partnership in that sector as well. And Brunei happens to be one of the new partners in the Asian region, and that is why this trip is very significant.